Hi, it's Polly with Get Busy Thriving, and I was inspired. I want to share in this video about how to create a life you love or living intentionally. And I've been asked to speak on the subject of telling your own story and changing your reality and things a lot lately, and it's helped me whittle down things into a couple of areas. And I think it's really important to start by reminding you, in most cases, of three functions that your mind or your brain operate upon. This is how it works, and I won't go into the science of it just for simplicity's sake and not to make a super long video. So the first one is the filtering that your brain does, okay, or the lenses that you see the world through, because your mind is like a spam filter. Okay, so email spam filters, they filter out the things that you can either tweak it and say what you want it to say, or change it. So your mind is doing that constantly. There's literally like 1/100th of the information that is available in any moment is your brain letting through and soaking in, because it's just too much. It would overwhelm you all the time. So, like it or not, your brain is filtering out a lot of stuff, and what creates those filters is a lot of the imprinting and the experiences that we had to about age 8 or 12. So the things that we learned about, things that people told us about the world, the way that the world is, experiences we had in the world, mean people suck kind of thing. That's the filter, or the lenses, the glasses that we took on, and we start to see the world through those lenses. I can imagine there's a woman who invented the Spanx product, and I heard her bio, and she talked about how at the dinner table, her family, her dad would teach her that it was okay to fail. Failing is good, like learn by failure. So she learned that as a child growing up, and she's a very successful billionaire creating this amazing product and business because she's not afraid to fail. And then, I think about people or, situations where there's other kids who are, taught by parents who live in the scarcity mindset that, get a good job and be secure and, no, and they see the world through that. So your brain is constantly filtering. It's looking for, am I okay? Is this okay? Do I need this? Do I not need this? So just know that it's a filtering mechanism, and it's constantly at work, and it's guiding the things that you see. It's filtering out things that if it's not trained to look for, it won't see. The second thing is what are called neuroassociations. It's like this web in your mind. So you can imagine like the internet, or just a spider's web, how things are a very tangled ball of a spider's web, not so pretty, but it's just interwoven with all these links or connections or ties that the brain creates and is constantly creating. So why is it doing that? Well, it's an energy efficiency system. And the brain, while we've evolved as humans over tens of thousands of years, the brain is still evolving, but it's largely based upon many years ago. And part of that filtering is because of, it's looking for fight or flight type things. Is this harmful? Is this going to, kill me? Am I going to make it to my next meal kind of thoughts? The linking up is energy efficiency. It's trying to create shortcuts or patterns in the brain that can remind you of how to do things faster, more efficiently. So it's why when you pull up to an intersection, you remember, oh, green light means I can go, and a red light means I can stop, because it'd be very bad if I got those reversed. It's the sweet things of how when we hear a song on the radio, it reminds us of an old friend or our first love or something. Well, the brain linked those things up, and it's constantly adding and deleting those files. The imprinting and the filtering, those glasses you put on, and unless you realize it and you put on some new glasses, you're wearing those for the rest of your life, pretty much. The linking up is constantly happening every day. It's deleting files. It's an energy efficiency system. So if there's a file that it doesn't need, I remember traveling in Europe and living there for months and not using English for like weeks at a time, just because I wasn't interacting with people who spoke English, and I'd forget my words when I had an opportunity to interact with somebody who spoke English. I was like, oh yeah, English, that's right, where are my words? So those links are happening, they're being created. It's the good things that remind us, hey, green light at an intersection means go. Sometimes it's remembering, oh God, that chocolate that I really love, or that candy that I love, but I'm trying to avoid. Oh yeah, it's on aisle 3 as you walk in the grocery store. Didn't need to remember that, thank you very much, but it's trying to be helpful. It knows you like it. So those are 2 things. And then the last one is, I like to use an analogy. It's, you have 1 mind and 2 brains. And I best heard it described as having a captain and a crew. So the captain is your conscious mind. And we won't go into, there's so much we could talk about the brain, but this is a great analogy. So the captain is the one who gives the orders, know what direction you're going in. It's to connect to your goals. It's in command. It's like, okay, this is what we're doing, people. The crew, always listening and always obedient, always implementing on whatever the captain wants. And it's not filtering. It's not saying, oh, does she really mean that? Or maybe we shouldn't do that one. Nope, it's always doing it exactly according to orders. So it's those thoughts and the stories we tell ourselves. I'm going to turn this around. Oh, there's my kitty. It's the thoughts and the story we're thinking in our mind and we're speaking out loud is what are giving those orders. So if you're giving commands to your body, to your crew, like, I'm so fat, or I don't look good in this, or I can't fit in anything anymore, or I'm lazy, or I procrastinate, or whatever, negative directions, positive directions, the crew doesn't ask. It just says, she's lazy. And it will, you feel like you're self-sabotaging. Why can't I get off this couch? Okay, procrastination. Why do I keep procrastinating? She procrastinates. It will keep helping you live that out, you might say. So just know that these things are there, and if you're not conscious of them, if you're not aware of them, they could be running the show, and you're not living intentionally. You're living by default. You're living through the lens of an 8-year-old child, you might say. And you're unaware that these patterns are being created, these habits, and the things that I say, they actually matter. Like, that's how I'm creating my life. Yeah, that's how you're doing it. So, I have a couple notes here of things that I want to share with you on how you can start to live intentionally, like create this reality of yours instead of just kind of going, what's happening here, or why do I keep getting these results? So the first one is all about, being more aware. So self-awareness, consciousness, being mindful. I was messaging with a client of mine, and we were kind of chuckling about, there's a famous quote about, being the guardian of your mind, or, you have to protect your mind and protect your thoughts. And it's like, those thoughts are going to get in, right? Especially if you've trained them over and over, they're there. It's more like being a hall monitor and going, oh, no, you need to go back to your room, or we're not having that thought right now, or, thanks for reminding me that, yeah, I've thought that pattern for a long time, but hey, here's the new story, crew, listen up. So it's being mindful and self-aware, right? It's like not just letting these patterns and these thoughts get out of hand and kind of run the show. It's going, especially the momentum of them, because the momentum of them is what, creates urges and habits and things that we don't want to be doing. So beware of your self-talk, that inner conversation, that inner dialogue, and be aware of the words that you say and the things that you're telling people, because the crew is listening, always listening. Next is practice. Be intentional. Every day, wake up and practice rituals that reinforce to the crew, this is where we're going. This is what I'm up to. Here's my vision board in case you haven't seen what I'm imagining and I'm dreaming of lately. Like, let me remind you, let me remind myself, and let me enjoy living into that future. Let me tell you my story. Writing your story is powerful. Sitting in visualization and emotionalizing. Affirming I am statements, affirming incantations like, I can do anything, I am unstoppable, I'm amazing, whatever it is. Come up with those and practice them daily. And I'll be damned if you don't wrap them in gratitude. So, a morning practice that is filled with dreams and affirmations and visions, and then you wrap it in gratitude. You spend just a couple of minutes of like, what I'm thankful for today, and there's always something to be thankful for. That is like sending a message to the crew, wrapped in love. Like, of this, please. It goes, oh yeah, more of this. And the last one is what I call, I call it, it's a word that was used actually by Abraham Hicks, pre-paving or segment intending. And I love this. Pre-paving is like building your path and then walking on it, or pre-paving your path and then stepping into your life. And so how I use this, one of the most common ways is, especially when I'm asked to give a presentation or a talk, I'll always pre-pave beforehand. I will sit for a few minutes and I will imagine, what do I want this audience to feel from my talk? I gave a talk this morning and I said, I want them to feel inspiration. I want them to feel the compassionate love that I had for this message that I was giving. And people came up to me afterward and said how moved they were. And it was a very, let's call it a serious arena. It wasn't a lovey-dovey, platform or a transformation circle or something like that. It was actually, a city government talk that I gave, but I gave it with such passion and inspiration that people came up to me and said, you did a great job, and we were so moved by what you said. And I pre-paved that. That's the outcome that I wanted, and you can do this with anything. You can do it with, how you want to get to work. Do you want to get to work without traffic? Do you want to find that parking space? Do you want to have a loving conversation with someone that you need to share something with them that you're uncomfortable about or uncertain about? And another great technique that goes along with pre-paving is, I call it, the Wonder Woman pose. So it's standing, like Wonder Woman with your hands on your hips, and embodying the power and confidence of a Wonder Woman. And for 2 minutes, if you hold that, there's studies from Harvard that say that, and the confidence that you will have in whatever it is you do. And I do the Wonder Woman. I'll even do it in the car before I go into a meeting, or if I'm going to have a phone call, or something that I just want to feel my best at, my badass self, then it's a great way. So I hope you will remember these 3 things. So being mindful and self-aware of your thoughts, being that hallroom monitor, and catching the thoughts and not letting them get out of hand, not letting them gain momentum. And then, remembering to be deliberate in your intentions every day, creating your life, looking at your visions, dreaming, imagining, wrapping it with gratitude and love. And then segment intending. Try that. Play with that in short segments. It's really great. This is how a life of a deliberate creator, not a default liver, is created. Enjoy it.